Hello. So this short, well, maybe not so short, I don't know how long it's gonna last. This video today just has some random thoughts from my heart and from this crazy brain of mine that likes to hop around, if you know me at all. So bear with me. This is such a weird time, so I just wanted to share and get away from some of the charts and all the data that I've been presenting in past videos and webinars. So how are you doing? I know I get that question all the time. Are you sick of hearing that? Are you telling people, I'm fine? Are you telling them the truth? Because I know for me, I feel like I've been stuck in Groundhog Day and I barely know what day it is. Although I do know it's Friday today, but Fridays don't feel the same lately, right? I was talking to a client the other day, and we were talking about how there's this shift from me to we occurring. And I think that's beautiful. We're longing for connection and we're missing it a lot. And good things are happening in the midst of chaos. It's hard to see it sometimes. I'm seeing industries changing. I think there's gonna be a lot of companies that emerge from this better and ready to do business and are able to write off some of the bad numbers maybe from the past quarter or two. And really move ahead. So that's exciting. I know it doesn't feel like that now. And there's certainly many that are going to be affected and may not even recover. But, I remember in 2008, older advisor, because I'm so young, telling me to never let a good crisis go to waste. And meaning find positive in the midst of pain. And that's true not just with the economy, but also in every aspect of life, certainly in the personal side. Be vulnerable, willing to accept help. This is an important time to be able to receive help, certainly give help, but also to receive. I watched my father his entire life, and he's still with us, and he's still doing this, give so much, such a great giver, but it's hard for him to receive help and to receive favors. And so that's something I struggle with myself, but it's okay. It's okay to receive help. We need each other. I talked about this in a past webinar. My journal is just right over there behind the camera, over there by Jolene. But journal, it's gonna be really special to pull out your thoughts and kind of memories from this 2020 strange times, in 5, 10, 20, 30 years, kids, grandkids. I encourage you to do that. Plus, it's just a great thing that really clears your mind. And remember how powerful words are. And what I mean by that is, with kind and encouraging words, you can really change a day or an entire life for somebody, and certainly for yourself. In the ways that we prevent fear and unhappiness during times like this, and just in general, are really trying to pay attention to the things that you're paying attention to. So what is something that I tell, if you're a client of mine, what do I tell you all the time? Maybe turn off the news, the politics, junk, all that stuff. It helps. So what are you paying attention to, right? And I encourage all of us to think about what are the things that we're never going to take for granted again. Friday nights with friends, mornings at the gym, crowded concerts, happy hours, birthday celebrations, life itself. So a lot of things there. All right, shifting from the right brain now over to the left brain, which I just felt it happen. Let's talk about the economy for a second. Just a couple of important things to remember, because actually I am a financial advisor, not a therapist, although I am studying to get my certified financial therapist certification. And I do have a couch in my office, and Jolene is actually a therapy dog. Jolene, come here. Come here, Joe. All right, she's not into it. I thought she might make an appearance. What was I saying? Oh yeah, there have been, here she comes, 2 periods ever when, over 10 years when the market lost money. Come here, Jolene. Come here. There we go. See, that always feels good to hug a puppy. Hey, girl. Okay, that was weird. So 2 periods that were actually negative, and that was starting in 1929 and also in 1999, and for the 10 years following. And recoveries usually last, months, right? But the worst, like in the Great Depression, it took 4.4 years for the market to get back. And in 2008, after the Great Recession, it took about 4.1 years. So just some kind of benchmarks to remember that it doesn't take 10, 20, 30 years to come back from this kind of stuff. we get a lot of information. For every piece of information that I send to you, we get at least 25 to 100 that we throw away. So just keep that in mind. So even though I'm giving you a lot of information, I'm giving you the important information, or at least what we think is important, so that you can digest things and not just a bunch of stuff. We all have plenty of stuff. So what are we doing in the portfolios? We're talking to our managers constantly, top advisors every day, and I'm feeling very connected and just grateful for the community that I have around me that isn't full of a bunch of egos, but it's people that really want to help each other and each other's clients. So that's really exciting, and we've really come together, at least in my world and in this business, and drop any competitive aspect of it, which is really sweet and great. In the U.S. economy, we wiped out like 30 million jobs, and that's going to take some time to get back. Definitely, that's no joke. One client told me that a credit card company called him and said, "Did you lose your card?" I mean, right? We're not spending as much money, and the big question, I think, especially in an economy like ours, that's 70% plus driven by consumer spending, is: are people going to spend as much or go back to normal spending? And I think probably not. That's just my gut. Maybe 75% of what we were spending. I think we're going to spend less, and that's going to affect the economy too. But there's also going to be other things like technology, I think, that really grow from this. So anyway, just something to think about is what is the new normal going to be? People are usually changed after a crisis. We've seen it. People that grew up in the Great Depression spent money differently, saved differently, had a different lens, right? Other thoughts and topics. How is the David Adams Wealth Group? We call it DAWG, D-A-W-G. That's our acronym. Jolene loves that. But how's our fiscal health? Well, good. What's happened? We've always maintained a year to 2 years of an emergency fund, what I call kind of our bucket one in our client meetings, to make sure that we have enough money for payroll and rent. We stress test our business to say, what if the market falls 50% and our income's down 25% or 30%? Can we continue operations and continue to never have to lay off and continue to pay people and so they can support their families? And we've done that, so we're okay. We're in good shape. We don't like income being down, but very blessed and feel very fiscally responsible there. And what's happening? Like when are we going to return to normal? Most of our team's at home. We Zoom every day and check in. I think we're getting closer to a couple of us coming back to the office. I talked to the top 25 offices at Raymond James and asked when they think things are going to be normal in their office, and the answers range from tomorrow to never, literally. They kind of surveyed everybody. Some of their teams have been in the office the whole time. They weren't seeing clients, but their teams were there. And some say, we don't know if the whole team will come back ever. We may kind of restructure our business and have people work from home. Ask them about when are you going to have meetings with clients face-to-face again. Some said now, some said, I don't know, maybe never. I have one top advisor that has moved down to the beach and thinks they're just going to do Zoom meetings and keep a couple of their key staff in the office. So people are changing. I think for the good. It's interesting. But most of all, we're concerned about your health and about our team's health and everything. So we're obviously following the protocol from the state and from the national or federal government, that sort of thing. And we're going to be socially responsible as well as fiscally responsible with our business. We had great success with our webinars. We did 3 or 4 of them, had about 200 people between them join, and found a way to connect and learn a new skill in the midst of this. I'm much more of an in-person person versus being behind a video, but we've adapted, and that's what we have to do. A little story. I kind of jotted down some notes here. I'm going to read this. I thought this was really special. It touched me. It's from one of my good friends, Chris, who's another Raymond James advisor and a very close friend of mine who I respect. So a water carrier person in India had 2 large, and I love India. I've been there several times. So this story really spoke to me because that country has a special place in my heart for a lot of reasons. So a water carrier person in India had 2 large pots, both hung on ends of a pole, right? So 2 different water pots. And one of the pots had a crack and the other was perfect and always delivered a full portion of water. So this one was perfect. This one had a crack in it and leaked. At the end of the long walk from the stream to the house, the cracked pot always arrived half full, right? The poor cracked pot was ashamed of its own imperfection and miserable that it was only able to accomplish half of what it was made to do. And after 2 years of what it perceived to be a bitter failure, it spoke to the water carrier the person carrying the water, one day by the stream and said, "I am ashamed of myself and I want to apologize to you. I have been able to deliver only half of my load because this crack in my side causes water to leak out all the way back to my house. And because of my flaws, you have to do all of this and twice as much work." The man said, "Hey, it's okay. I knew all of this, and so I planted seeds of flowers along the path. And every day you have watered them," I'm getting chills, "and provided great joy for everyone following the path on our journey home. And so what may be your flaws, the moral of the story is what may be your flaws are actually seen as a strength." Just remember that. Thought that was beautiful. Speaking of stories, what is your story, right? Who are you? What shaped you? Are you sharing this with people? A lot of times we feel like nobody else is interested, but the reality is people want to connect, and they will if you let them and if you share. Mixing it up. Got a little comedy routine here, a few client jokes. A lot of good conversations with clients, a lot of people staying at home and connecting with their family and friends. So some of this stuff came from that. I told my wife to embrace her mistakes, and she gave me a big hug. Cute. A client was telling me, "Hey, I ran out of toilet paper, so I started using old newspapers. The times are tough." They say there's going to be a baby boom over the next 9 months from this quarantine. So that means in 2033, we're going to witness the rise of the quarantines, a new generation, the quarantines. Are you laughing? I hope so. I actually tried to use a coronavirus joke a while back. It was not well received. It was too soon. I think now you can get away with it, but maybe don't use that one. So due to the quarantine, I'm only going to be telling inside jokes. All right. I think that one hit well. I'm going to stop there, but I am available for private Zoom comedy parties for your office or your family. So just direct message me or whatever the kids are saying. Mother Teresa said, I like this quote, "Never worry about numbers. Help one person at a time and always start with the person nearest you." That couldn't be more true now. There's two words. I was talking with a buddy of mine. We were talking about the words wonder and forgiveness. And forgiveness, big word. Without it, we can be bound by our captor, right? Or we can take back control of our feelings. So there's really two paths with forgiveness. One is you retaliate and pay back and you continue the hurt. And the other one, of course, is you forgive and move on. And to do that, this takes a lot of self-awareness and confidence and the ability to just be okay with not being right. Something to really think about now. Who can you reach out to and apologize or forgive? People want that. It's healing. And then the word wonder, can you retain the wonder that is inside of you? What do I mean by that? See things in a different light. Be amazed at how things work and attempt to be wonderful. It's such an empowering question when you ask, what are you amazed by? Step out in the backyard and just look at how amazing things are and the interconnection of nature. It's really beautiful. I don't do this enough, and I've done it a little bit, not enough during this period. Do you ever go outside and stop to think and then you forget to even start? Deep. There's so much time and space right now, and this is really, we have the unique ability right now to be able to actually shut down the brain some and take advantage. All right, got a market stat. So coming off of March, which was a horrible month in the market, April had some of the biggest gains. The S&P was up like 12.7. The Dow was up like a little over 11%. The NASDAQ was up like 15%. Huge gains for April, but of course that was coming off of a really bad March. But just to show, sometimes the market doesn't make a lot of sense, and that's why we don't get caught up in the trading or the timing game, if you will. In the last 7 days, we've done I think 7 or 8 meetings with portfolio managers, 10 hours studying the new tax code, 6 to 10 hours of webinars with health experts about COVID and the CARES Act and different things like that. Russell Investments came out with a really cool study, at least to me, showing the new value of having a good financial advisor. And they attributed that at 4.81% a year of value. Now, what does that mean? If an advisor's charging you 1% and they're adding 4% of value, that's pretty darn good, right? And this is because people make the big mistakes at times like this with timing the market and really screwing up and ruining a financial plan. And then you take the combination of us keeping you from making those emotional timing mistakes with tax efficiency and planning and rebalancing, there's a lot of value. So that's not just to make me feel better about what I do. It's just to explain that the importance of having a wealth manager, and it doesn't have to be us. So the markets have been recovering despite all the bad news. I know that feels weird to see the market down 15% or whatever it is, depending on what day you watch this, and it seems like it should be a lot worse. So that's why we don't try to time it in the short term, like I said earlier, but we do stay active and we rebalance and we stay strategic, and we love what we do. All right, I'm about to quit. Oh my gosh, 15 minutes. I'm supposed to do 2-minute videos. Fail. Gratitude. I want to read you some thoughts about gratitude. 10 ways that you can show gratitude right now. Make eye contact as I look down at the computer. Make eye contact and smile at people when you see them. Put hearts on your door to thank the frontline responders. Buy a gift card for your favorite restaurant or from your favorite restaurant. Say thank you to the grocery store clerk. Send emails and post thank yous to friends and family. Share your material possessions. Definitely do that. Write a love note to your partner. Give someone a compliment every single day. Donate to charity and say thank you. Simple things, right? So that being said, we're serious about our guidance and we're committed to you. And while wealth management is what we do, guiding people through adversity in times like this, that's just more who we are. And just stay safe, positive, grateful, turn off the TV, focus on the things you can control. Another joke or a little short poem to finish the comedy hour. I dig, you dig, he digs, she digs, we dig, they dig. It's not a long poem, okay? But it's certainly a deep poem. Very deep. Do you get that? It's not funny. I bought my friends an elephant for their room, and they said thank you. And I said, please don't mention it to anybody. All right, I'm done.